This is the story of how we sold everything we owned in Canada and moved to Mexico. Over the past several years, my wife and I really contemplated what was really important to us. Call it a midlife crisis, call it exhaustion, call it whatever you want, but my wife and I came to the conclusion that time was the most valuable thing that we couldn't buy, no matter how much money you make. As we got older, we started really feeling the last few years that time was really flying by. In a blink of an eye, we've watched our kids grow from babies to toddlers and to hit preteen years faster than we could realize, and even wonder where that time went. And how did we get here so fast? We became accustomed to working all the time, which is not new for my wife and I, but we were doing basically the same routine day in and day out. When your kids get older and want to do extracurriculars, I think a lot of you can relate at how much time is spent just driving them around and doing the same routine day in and day out. And we came to realize that all that time spent wasn't really quality, nor was it anything we really wanted to do as a family. We kind of just felt like we had to do those things because this is what everybody else was doing. You can easily get sucked into this lifestyle and you don't even realize it. Once we decided to get off the rat race, it took us a couple of years to get everything in order to make the move. Leaving everything you've ever known behind is a pretty big move and it's pretty bold, but when you set a goal, all you see is the finish line. Moving to a different country can be very overwhelming, especially when you realize how much time, effort, and research is involved in doing such a big move. But everything worth doing doesn't come easy. Since we've been coming to Mexico several times a year for over a decade, we kind of were familiar with where we landed. But when reality started to settle in that we didn't have a return flight home, we were overcome by an overwhelming amount of emotions. Generally, when people hear that kind of a statement, they think that these are all negative emotions. However, for us, these emotions were mostly filled with joy, happiness, relief, and a sense of calm that we've never really felt before. And we also felt a huge sense of pride for having accomplished such a gigantic goal. Once we landed, we took about a month off to just soak it all in and relax. Before we sold everything and before we landed in Mexico, we already had a game plan in motion. Part of that plan was to buy a new house and get everything in motion to start setting roots in our new home. After uprooting our entire life in Canada and doing something that most people only dream of, or think what we did is completely crazy or unthinkable, are we really all that happy now? The simple answer is yes. We have absolutely zero regrets. I'm curious, how many of you ever thought of moving to a different country? Maybe it's not Mexico, but the world is huge. Let me know what you think, or if you would ever even consider doing something like this. And if you have, I'd love to hear your experiences and where you moved to. If I could encourage or impart any sort of wisdom, I would say that life is short and you should live the life you want to live. Thanks for watching.